Okay, so again, on today's bonus show, we'll be talking about John McCain says torture actually did not lead to getting Osama bin Laden. The thing is, while I agree with McCain on that statement, John McCain has lost a lot of credibility with me and with a number of others over the last few years. Also, a mother has given her 8-year-old daughter Botox, and Florida's new bestiality law might have inadvertently completely outlawed sex. We're going to look at exactly what the law does say. Let's get Lewis to the new poll. How will killing bin Laden affect Obama's approval rating long term? We mentioned earlier that one poll has it at 60% now, Obama's approval rating. One has it at 57%. It's not clear whether Democrats were oversampled in one of those polls. The question is, regardless of exactly how much the approval rating has gone up, what will be the long-term effect? And what really I'm saying is going into the re-election campaign, which is now ramping up for Barack Obama, how will the bin Laden killing affect it? I don't know. We'll see what our audience has to say. What else do we have here? I do have one. Okay. Lewis gave a response last week, or an explanation about why he does not vote. And Jacob Hoffer, who's a new member and actually was the one who asked for Lewis's explanation, left us a voicemail addressing that. Here's what he had to say.
I understand what you're saying, Lewis. I've still been debating with myself whether or not I think society is past the point of no return, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't pay attention or I shouldn't be counted. You don't have to vote for the Republicans or the Democrats. The only exception I would say is if, Bernie Sanders were ever to run for president and he decided to run as a Democrat or something like that. But for the most part, I'm going to be sticking with the Green Party or Progressive Independence.
All right, so Lewis, what about that? What about just voting for a third party, even if they're not going to win, just to say you did your part to at least try to help?
I think even if Jesus ran for president and got elected, I do not think he could make 1 ounce of change in a country that's completely ruled by corporate interest.
I disagree with the premise of even putting Jesus into this. I get where you're going with it, but Lewis is going in a weird direction now. So a couple of emails on this also. I could agree if nothing changed, but it does. As a black man, I really like slavery being abolished. So, yeah, it's easy to say the whole thing doesn't work, but it actually does.
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, I think if slavery had occurred 50 years ago in this country instead of a couple hundred, it would be big business. And those giant corporations that did not exist back then would have had some sway.
Wow.
Unfortunately. I think I'm being perfectly honest.
All right. All candidates must run on public money alone. At the end of the campaign, the electorate will be able to see which of the candidates was able to handle a budget. I bet Lewis would vote then. We need campaign finance reform. We're not going to get the kind we need, but we do need it desperately.
Even with campaign finance reform, even when these people are not giving money to the candidates, they're still giving money to the Congress, the politicians in office, the lobbyists are still there. There's still, I don't see overall how
there's a big infrastructure in place where if you just change the financing of the election, you're still going to be able to get to people.
It'd be an improvement, but a small improvement.
On the Republican presidential debate, I don't know why people keep getting suckered in with Ron Paul. I'd rather Obama win and break all of his promises than Paul winning and keeping all of his. All right. People cheering for torture. This is sickening. And then on the topic of the Wikileaks Al-Qaeda nuke documents, it's a smokescreen. If Al-Qaeda had a nuke, they would have used it already. That was my sense. And remember, the Wikileaks documents came from our intelligence services. So if they're wrong, we, the U.S., were also wrong. I think that point is lost on a lot of people when they discuss the Wikileaks documents, although it's not the most common discussion. That's it for the show today. Join us on the bonus show, davidpakman.com/membership.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.